Hey everyone, I'm Mia.
And I'm Leo.
Welcome to the English Blend. We make learning feel like a chat with friends, you know?
Exactly. And today we are tackling that big fear, the fear of the empty page, or the fear of making a mistake when you write.
Have you ever felt like you know all the grammar rules, but when you actually try to write something down quickly, your brain just freezes?
Oh, 100%. That pause is deadly.
Right?
It is. It stops the flow.
So today's topic is super practical. How to journal in English every day.
We want to show you how journaling is the perfect, low-pressure way to improve your English fluency, especially if you're at that A2 or B1 level.
You don't need perfect grammar to start. You just need 5 minutes and a pen. Or maybe your phone.
Exactly. So grab your coffee and let's get started.
Okay, Leo, let's start with the big concepts first.
Sure, we hear these two words all the time, fluency and accuracy.
And people often confuse them, or they think they are the same thing. They are not.
Accuracy is about getting the grammar right. It's about using the correct verb tense, making sure your prepositions are perfect, and spelling everything without mistakes.
It's the correctness side of English. It's what you learn in textbooks.
And fluency? Fluency is about communication. It's about being able to express yourself smoothly without long pauses so that the person listening or reading understands your main idea.
It means you can get your point across, even if you make small errors.
That phrase, get your point across, just means communicating your message effectively. Did they understand what you wanted to say? Yes? Then you got your point across.
It doesn't matter if you mixed up she and her a little bit or used the wrong preposition. If the listener knows you meant to order a latte, you are fluent enough for that situation.
And journaling is the absolute best way to practice fluency because nobody is grading your work.
You are your only audience.
That low pressure is key because if we focus too much on accuracy, we fall into a trap.
We hit a wall.
Ah, great phrase. When you hit a wall, it means you suddenly stop making progress or you feel totally stuck. Like trying to run and suddenly there's a brick wall in front of you.
And for language learners, that wall is often built of grammar rules.
Tell me about it. Why does grammar block fluency so much?
Because the moment you try to speak or write, your brain shifts into editor mode. It stops being the creative part and starts being the judge.
It's constantly asking, is this past simple? Wait, should it be present perfect continuous? Is went irregular?
That constant self-correction makes you slow down dramatically. It breaks the flow of thought.
And writing a journal is fundamentally about capturing thoughts, not correcting essays.
Precisely. If you are trying to describe how tired you felt after work, you just need to write, I was tired after work.
You don't need to spend 5 minutes figuring out the perfect adverb to describe your tiredness.
No! The purpose of journaling in English is to create an immediate connection between the thought in your head and the English words on the page.
We want to build muscle memory for language, not just rule memory. So let's talk a little bit about how this perfectionism affects learners everywhere.
This is a shared cultural experience, I think. We are taught that mistakes are bad.
Absolutely. I remember talking to a friend who was learning French, and she was so brilliant in the classroom. Straight A's. She knew every conjugation.
A true grammar expert.
Yes. But we went to Paris together, and she ordered coffee at the cafe. She spent about 3 minutes planning the sentence in her head.
Oh, no.
She finally said it perfectly. But the waiter had already walked away because the pause was so long.
That's heartbreaking. The accuracy was perfect, but the communication failed due to lack of fluency.
Exactly. And when the waiter came back, he just spoke to her in English because it was faster. She felt terrible.
What she learned there is that being understood immediately is more valuable than being grammatically flawless, especially in daily life situations, like ordering coffee or telling someone about your day.
That experience taught her that sometimes just spitting the words out, even messy words, is better than waiting for perfection.
That's what we want learners to achieve with journaling. It's a safe space to spit out the words.
Think of your journal as a practice field. You can fall over, trip, and make a mess, and no one cares.
The goal is quantity over quality, especially in the beginning. We need volume to get comfortable. Okay, let's transition into the actual steps. How do we start journaling tonight?
We have 3 to 5 practical tips here that focus entirely on breaking that grammar checking habit.
Tip number 1, and this is crucial, the no erase rule.
This means literally if you are writing by hand, you are not allowed to use an eraser. If you are typing, do not use the backspace key.
If you make a mistake, you just cross it out once or put brackets around it and keep going. Do not stop.
Why is this so important for fluency?
Because the moment your hand pauses, your brain goes back into editor mode. We are forcing the brain to stay in creator mode.
If I write, I went to the store and I buyed. Wait, buy doesn't write. What do I do, Mia?
You cross out buyed and write but immediately next to it. Then continue the sentence without pausing to feel bad about the mistake.
It's about accepting the imperfection in real time. Because in conversation, you can't erase your words anyway, right?
Exactly. The journal is simulating real-time conversation. The mistake happens, you self-correct instantly, and you move on.
Okay, tip 2, the 5-minute brain dump.
Don't think of this as writing a novel. Think of it as opening a mental faucet for exactly 5 minutes.
Set a timer. When the timer starts, you write down every single thought that crosses your mind. It could be about dinner, a strange dream, a terrible song stuck in your head, anything.
The goal is to keep the hand moving until the timer rings. If you run out of things to say, just write, I don't know what to write, I don't know what to write, until a new thought pops up.
The pressure is the time limit, not the content quality. 5 minutes is enough to start creating volume without burning out.
If you are doing this every day, 5 minutes adds up fast. That's 35 minutes of pure English writing practice a week.
And the key here is the daily habit. Consistency is what builds fluency, not one massive 60-minute session once a month.
So we've got no erase and the 5-minute brain dump. That helps with the flow, but how do we improve the structure of the English we use?
That brings us to tip 3, focus on chunks, not single words.
This is a huge concept for English learners.
Yes, when we learn a language, we often focus on single vocabulary words like happy, dog, run.
But native speakers don't talk in single words. We speak in chunks or collocations, groups of words that naturally go together.
For example, instead of translating I am feeling a little bit down, word for word, you want to train your brain to retrieve the entire chunk. I am feeling a little bit down. Or instead of just learning the word decision, you learn the chunk to make a quick decision.
When you journal, don't worry about the perfect single word. Worry about connecting chunks together. Write down sentences that are naturally phrased, even if you feel like you are repeating a whole phrase you just heard on a YouTube video. That's learning.
Use chunks related to your daily life. If you're writing about work, use chunks like, I have a meeting at 10, or I need to catch up on emails.
Journaling helps solidify these chunks because you are actively producing them in a meaningful context, your own life.
It moves the knowledge from the theory part of your brain to the active production part.
That leads us perfectly to tip 4, which is about what to write. Write about immediate, relatable experience.
We don't want you writing fictional stories about dragons yet, unless that's your actual job.
Stick to your life. Write about what you ate for breakfast, a conversation you had at the cafe, how traffic made you feel, or why you were excited for the weekend.
Using immediate experience means the vocabulary you need is already active in your short-term memory. It's the language of your everyday world. If you try to write about a complex historical topic, you will spend your whole 5 minutes searching for specialized vocabulary. That kills fluency.
If you write, "The bus was late and I was annoyed," that uses high-frequency, practical words. This is productive journaling.
And remember, if you realize you don't know the word for something, maybe the name of the kind of shoe you wore, don't stop. Use English words you do know to describe it. Say, I wore the shoes that are good for running, but they are old.
That is still a victory. You communicated the idea. You used the tools you had. That's what fluency is all about.
And later, maybe after the timer goes off, you can look up the correct word, like sneakers or trainers, and add it to your chunk list for tomorrow's entry.
Okay, we've written our 5 minutes of messy, chunky, highly relatable text. What's tip 5?
Tip 5. Read it back later, but only for communication clarity.
Notice Mia didn't say, read it back and fix every single grammatical error.
No, the purpose of reading it back is twofold. First, it reinforces the connection between the written word and the sound in your head. You are practicing reading fluency too.
And second, you're checking if your point was clear. Did I understand what I meant to say?
If you read, "I went to work and I see my boss," you might think, that sounds a bit strange. I should have used saw.
You notice it, but you don't need to panic or rewrite the whole entry. You just know that your brain is recognizing a pattern.
And if you notice a pattern error, like mixing up he and him every single time, that's wonderful. That means you know exactly what simple rule you need to review for 10 minutes tomorrow.
Don't let the review session turn into shame. View those errors as targets for focused study later.
It's not the end of the world if you made a mistake.
Exactly. That's our third important phrase. If something is not the end of the world, it means it is not a terrible, serious disaster. It's just a small problem.
Making a grammar mistake is definitely not the end of the world. It's just part of the learning process. If it happens, shrug it off and move on.
We have to stop viewing errors as failures and start viewing them as data points. They tell you where to focus your effort later.
So let's recap the steps quickly.
1. The no erase rule. Keep the pen moving.
2. The 5-minute brain dump. Focus on volume, not perfection.
3. Focus on chunks, not single words. Build natural phrases.
4. Write about immediate, relatable experience. Keep the vocabulary simple and active.
5. Read it back later, checking for clarity, not perfection.
These steps are designed to keep you in the fluency lane. If you stop to check grammar, you are breaking. We need to accelerate the language output.
We are training our language muscle to run fast, even if it trips a little sometimes.
And the great thing about journaling is it is flexible. If you miss a day, that's okay. Just start again tomorrow.
If you feel like you are writing the same 5 sentences every day, that's okay too. It means those 5 sentences are becoming deeply ingrained.
Consistency over intensity, always.
Now, let's go back and reinforce those useful phrases we introduced today.
We talked about how the goal is always to get your point across.
This means communicating effectively, even with errors. We do this by focusing on meaning first.
Think about it. A child learning their first language gets their point across using very basic, messy grammar, and we understand them.
We also discussed that feeling of getting stuck, which we called hitting a wall.
If you hit a wall, maybe you take a break or switch to writing about a completely different topic for 30 seconds. Don't let the frustration stop you completely.
And finally, when you make a mistake, whether it's in your journal or when speaking at a cafe, remember, it is not the end of the world.
It is truly okay. Everyone makes mistakes. Even native speakers make errors sometimes, especially when they're typing quickly.
The difference is that native speakers don't stop and panic about it. They correct it and move on. That's the mindset we want you to develop through daily journaling.
So, your homework for this week is simple. Find a small notebook or open a blank document on your phone and set a timer for 5 minutes.
And remember the no erase rule. Just write. Write in English.
Don't worry if it sounds basic. The most basic, consistent practice leads to the biggest long-term improvements in fluency.
Because fluency, remember, is simply the ability to communicate smoothly and quickly.
And journaling is your private, safe communication lab.
Start small, start simple, and stick with it.
That was a great talk. I feel motivated to write in my own journal now, maybe about this delicious coffee I'm drinking.
Maybe you could write a short story about the coffee. Just a small story.
Perfect. I'll use some of the chunks we talked about.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us on the English Blend today.
Yes, keep practicing, and we'll catch you next time.
See you in the next episode of the English Blend.